Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to thank you all for welcoming me here today to present my experiences as a UK trained.
Can you hear him okay?
Yeah. I'd like to thank you for welcoming me here today to share my experiences as a UK trained infectious diseases physician, which I will chat about my own experiences and the UK style of training in infectious diseases and what that looks like in comparison to the setup that is proposed here in Iraq. So I'll briefly talk about the UK training system as a whole, what that looks like in terms of postgraduate medical training, the different styles of training within infectious diseases, because we subdivide it depending on which, if you like, kind of accrediting co-specialty you have, be that internal medicine, medical microbiology, or medical virology, and generally how the pathway into infectious diseases works in the United Kingdom. I'll talk a bit about the curriculum and a bit about the day-to-day life as an infectious diseases registrar, so as a doctor in training in infectious diseases in the UK. So the UK training system is quite well established in its kind of format. Candidates will undertake their primary medical degree, normally for 5 years, and then they will enter what's termed the UK Foundation Programme, which is a 2-year rotational programme through a multitude of specialties, both medicine, surgery, obstetrics, pediatrics, sometimes general practice, so kind of family medicine, and that will rotate on a 4-monthly basis over 2 years to acquire the doctor to acquire their core competencies as a doctor. Following this, if the doctor in question wants to undertake a kind of a physician training pathway rather than become a surgeon, they will undertake internal medicine training for normally 2 to 3 years, depending on the eventual specialty that they undertake in the longer run. And again, this forms a kind of rotational basis through a bunch of medical specialties that are relevant, so nephrology, gastroenterology, cardiology, etc. And then the doctor in training will enter higher specialty training from ST3 and above, is what we term it. So, and there are essentially 4 to 5 years of training in this higher level, where you are training to become an independent specialist, a consultant in that specialty. And in the UK, we can divide it up into Group 1 specialties, which, if you like, are specialties with high intensity general medicine component. So ID, you can accredit with ID with internal medicine, and that would be included in that group. But other acute specialties, such as cardiology, respiratory, gastroenterology, are also included within those Group 1 specialties. And then Group 2 specialties include less acute, less general medicine related specialties in the UK, so things like oncology, hematology, etc. But ID with medical microbiology or virology also come under that group. So there's a little bit of a difference between the exact training duration, whether or not you accredit with internal medicine or medical microbiology or virology. So those are the 3 main training programs that the UK has at present. And really there are a lot of similarities between them, and I'll talk about that, the kind of basic format of the program in a second. So I think the entry is a little bit different, because you will have done slightly more medicine, general medicine experience when you enter into ID with internal medicine versus ID with medical microbiology and virology, or medical microbiology and with ID. So there is a little slight difference in terms of the amount of general medical experience you have at this point. So the internal medicine with ID pathway is that you will do your foundation program, you will do 3 years of internal medicine training, so intense general medicine training, acquiring your MRCP during that time before you enter into higher specialty training. And the way we work things in the UK is the first 2 years of all infectious diseases related specialties are the same for the first 2 years. So this is called combined infection training. Okay? If you enter into the ID medical microbiology route, you will normally do your foundation program. You will do 2 years of internal medicine training, and then you will enter into higher specialty training in infectious diseases with medical microbiology, and that will be for 5 years. You will have done slightly less general internal medicine by this time, but then you are not accrediting as a general medicine kind of specialist, if you like. And the medical virology with infectious diseases pathway is again similar. There is this kind of capabilities in practice that is set out, and this kind of is formed around the UK General Medical Council, the kind of the good medical practice, and really this kind of is the attitudes that should be demonstrated by the doctor, including all aspects of work within medicine. So that includes teaching, includes communication, and working with patients. And then there are these clinical capabilities in practice, which, if you like, are a means for essentially describing the tasks that each specialist does. What is the scope of that specialty? What are the core clinical skills of that specialty? And these are a list of the clinical capabilities of practice in ID. And again, they are meant to cover the entire remit of what a capable ID physician should be able to do. And that includes providing support to the laboratory. Obviously, you're able to essentially form a link between the generalist and the laboratory and advise on laboratory diagnostic testing of infection. You are able to advise on core common infection prevention, control, and immunization issues. And you're able to comment on and provide a clinical opinion on patients that have a syndrome that is compatible with infection, or infection is within the differential diagnosis, because we know that lots of entities that present to hospital, infection is in the list of differential diagnoses, but the eventual diagnosis is not one of infection, but infection has to be considered. Antimicrobial stewardship is a critical part, and as has already been alluded to, is one of the core pieces of business of infectious diseases, is guiding and supporting hospital systems in their use of antimicrobials, prescribing and providing reassurance sometimes to non-specialist clinicians about what antibiotics you can use and de-escalation of therapy. And again, when you're a non-specialist, you may find this they find this difficult sometimes when we say, can you please de-escalate antibiotics to something more narrow spectrum? And again, as part of it, you should be able to provide continuing care to both inpatients and outpatients with suspected or proven infection. So, combined infection training is the first 2 years of all infectious diseases training tracks in the UK, and it's basically a kind of a blueprint for developing infection doctors that are able to provide clinical opinion and clinical management at the bedside or in the clinic, but also help supervise and support the laboratory in diagnostic testing. And as part of this, as part of their combined infection training, there is mandatory teaching. So the registrars will get teaching every week, delivered by one registrar and one consultant, and that teaching is, if you like, linked to their entire curriculum. And that is provided, that's Scotland-wide. Other areas of the country do things slightly differently, but across Scotland we have everything online, and they can dial in via Microsoft Teams. And over those 2 years, their clinical work is split into almost 4 6-month blocks. One where they focus on ID inpatient work, so looking after in patients with clinical infection. One block doing outpatient clinic work, so seeing patients with viral hepatitis, HIV infection, tuberculosis, etc. They will spend 6 months in the microbiology laboratory, gaining clinical experience of the tests that are conducted by the lab and when to apply them. And they will spend 6 months doing consult work, often in the form of seeing patients with orthopedic infection and in critical care, so intensive care, advising on the use of antibiotics and antifungals in the intensive care unit, and also on diagnostic testing. And then, generally speaking, trainees will progress into their higher infection training, where they will spend a further 2 to 3 years, again doing a mixture of ID and their other specialty, be that internal medicine, medical microbiology, or medical virology. And they will continue ongoing inpatient and outpatient work, just again continuing to develop their skills. And that is, the skills are assessed by senior colleagues, and I'll discuss briefly what that looks like. But successful completion of the higher infection training period will then lead to completion of training certificate and ability to apply for a consultant physician post within the UK. So how do we monitor progress and, if you like, ensure that the trainee is improving at the adequate rate? And we use this electronic portfolio system. And basically this is a collection of information of assessments with senior colleagues, and it may be related to specific cases, specific interactions, where the senior colleague may observe the trainee seeing a patient or discussing treatment with a patient or managing a patient. And they are able to provide direct feedback that is recorded and documented and provides objective assessment for how that trainee is performing, and allows all those kind of assessments in this portfolio system allow a clear objective assessment to be made. How is the trainee performing? Are they performing as we would expect? Do we expect them to be able to practice at an independent level at the completion of their training? The postgraduate examinations that are required to progress, depending on what track you go down. So if you're doing ID with internal medicine, you will only have to complete one additional exam, and that is called the Combined Infection Certificate Examination. If you like co-accrediting with medical microbiology or medical virology, then you will have to undertake a second examination to pass the fellowship of the Royal College of Pathologists. Other opportunities that trainees see. So there are a wide range of additional activities that we appreciate doctors require in the longer term, not just the core clinical skills. And that might be teaching, it might be leadership, management, it may be research and academia. And generally these are encouraged, and doctors can take periods of time out of their training to specifically focus and do a PhD or spend time working with specialist units to acquire specific experience. So I just thought I'd kind of highlight just what a typical day in ID in Scotland is like. And this is what we would see, kind of a relatively standard day for us. We would conduct a ward round first thing in the morning, seeing 17 patients in our unit, and that would be normally delivered by the consultant physician or the registrar who is on call. Normally there is one consultant and one registrar and a couple of more junior doctors with us. We would then attend the medical admissions ward and the high dependency unit, review new patients there that require specific consult advice. And as part of our antimicrobial stewardship activities, we have all positive blood cultures. We have all patients with bloodstream infection with bacteremia flagged to us, which we will attend to review in person, review their antibiotics with the sensitivities supplied by the laboratory, and alter their antimicrobial therapy. And that provides good opportunity for stewardship for de-escalation of treatment from broader spectrum agents to more narrow spectrum, which is a crucial aspect of antimicrobial stewardship. We then may undertake an OPAT multidisciplinary team meeting, which is where we have patients that receive intravenous therapy as an outpatient, often for complex infections. And we would have a multidisciplinary team meeting with our specialist nurses who help support the patients undergoing those treatments. And then in the afternoon, we may have either an HIV or a general ID clinic. So day to day, as a registrar, as a trainee in ID in Scotland, we have a mixture of, say, of ward, of consult and outpatient work. There's regular teaching provided, and that again is on a weekly basis. There is a lot of very close interaction between the consultant, the supervising physician, and the registrar, and that allows the trainee to get very close feedback and focus on areas of development or areas of interest to the trainee. And again, trainees are encouraged to develop their own subspecialist interests within ID, be that things like HIV, viral hepatitis, tuberculosis, etc. And a lot of trainees will develop their own small niche subspecialty kind of interest, depending on their own preferences and perhaps what opportunities are available to them. So what is a case mixture like? So I'm one of 4 consultant physicians in my unit, so these are the kind of things that I have seen myself, and I'm one of 4 physicians. So, we see a lot of community-acquired infection, so your standard skin and soft tissue infection, urinary tract infection, bone and joint infection, endocarditis, meningitis, encephalitis, and bloodstream infection, particularly Staphylococcus aureus bacteremia, which is one of our very common bloodstream infections that we deal with. We see a small number of HIV-related conditions or complications. Tuberculosis is relatively uncommon in the UK versus many parts of the world, but it is increasing quite dramatically with increased migration. So we're seeing more and more imported tuberculosis as a result of migration. Imported infection we see uncommonly, so patients who have been abroad and returned with infections, so malaria, dengue, enteric fever, and various other infections that we would not normally see in the UK. And also a variety of other uncommon infections. So unusual, kind of relatively rare diseases, be it unusual fungal infection, non-tuberculous mycobacteria, etc. So I guess some of my personal thoughts on infectious diseases training in the UK is that I think everywhere is different in the UK, and having spent some time with some of the doctors in University College London, where they have a kind of tropical unit where they see a lot of imported infection. They see a huge amount of that, but they probably see slightly less of some of the more common things that we see that end up being left with generalists. So I think it really varies across the UK what you specifically see. And I think for me, one of the crucial aspects of ID training in the UK is that ID is such a vast spectrum of diseases, and the amount of knowledge required is huge. You can't know everything, but what you should know is when you don't know, and where to find that information out, and how to look things up, and because even since I became a consultant, and we've all done it in all our specialties, you see things that you just think, I've never seen this before, and I think that happens a lot in infectious diseases. And that's me.